Plantation. 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation. Saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating. Ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation.
Rejoice in tribulations, demonstrate patience in every situation, picking up the pieces to their heart restoration. People broken hearted and in need of salvation. We in captivity, we done lost our history. Disconnected from his laws, now there's no integrity. Here's the book and let them see, because they dying in these streets. Walking in darkness and where the carcass is, the eagles be. Walking in darkness and where the carcass around us like vultures. Murder on their mind when they approach us. Let your light shine, watch them scatter like roaches. Babylon falling cause we taking back our culture. Heal our land, Abba now, put us back in agriculture. This word burning them up, Romans is a flamethrower. We prophesy destruction, nukes coming, game over. International, continental, ballistic missile. Them bombs dropping like rain, no drizzle. The lake of fire make them sizzle. Showing fruits of the spirit, we don't gather figs of thistles. That's the dog, you know, so just like you were saying, right?
Hey, my name is Amani Bright Laws. I'm a travel business owner. My business is Always Shine Bright Travel, where we help you discover your next bright destination. I want to talk to you really quickly today about becoming a travel business owner. Listen, if your passion is traveling, if your passion is exploring the world, if your passion is wanting to travel and explore the world, then you should become a travel business owner, okay? I have 2 easy ways to get started. Less than 1 minute, okay? The first way, up here, our website, travelagentworkshop.com. And please use my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? The second way is a text code. Text the word workshop to the number 281-767-9711. And again, reference my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? Listen. The workshop is free. It's a free 3-day workshop, which gives you all the information on how to get started to become a travel business owner. Okay. Any questions that you have will get answered within that workshop. Okay. So let me meet you on the money making side of travel, where you can turn your passion into your paycheck.
Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Chef D-Nail. Over here, guess who's cooking? Good cooking, good eating, good living. Y'all know how we do it every Sunday about this time, man. We're going to get straight to it. We got the chicken and dumplings, all right? We got the perch fish with the mac and cheese, with the yams, with the 5 cheese toast over here on the Texas side. And, of course, we got the world-famous turkey tips, all right? We also got, on this one, we got the greens with the turkey tails, and we got the spaghetti. You already know what time it is, man. Hit the link, 773 992-4737 is the phone number to place your order every Sunday. All right. And you can hit us up on the Cash App to make payments at Guess Who's Cooking, the number 2. All right. You can hit the www.guesswho'scooking on the World Wide Web. You can catch us on Facebook Marketplace under Guess Who's Cooking. And, of course, on TikTok, man, at Guess Who's Cooking. Come on down. Get your orders.
Give me shame, I give you peace from underneath. Give me mind and be a light to reignite. Can you open up the doors to let me in? Can you open up the doors to let me in? You could put the heart inside, don't tap my head. As I sing the love inside from out my mouth. Tell me what you need to find. Tell me now. Tell me what you need to find.
In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Nah, that's a chariot coming back to save the game. It's a bloodline thing, we not the same. You think this shit a game? We about to rage, look in the sky, blue beam movie, distraction from what's really happening. All these heathens, they astonished. Look at the lights and look at the violence, look at the weather, look at the power. They got spacecraft, no real pilot. They tryna break through when they wildin'. When the land break through, y'all gon' be silent. He coming back for who really solid. Surrounded by water in a dome that's solid. Glass jar, hard bars. I'm in predictions like Bart Simpson's top mark. Charge, shoot far down below. Protect your neck and protect your soul. We in the land where anything goes.
Far above your atlas, demons get no access. Evangelists, activists, and I do get active. Christianity, insanity, deserted like a cactus. Pricked by the Blix, automatic acrobatics. Make a heathen air dynamic, floating backwards. I carry iron like my son is a blacksmith. Heavenly realms, heavenly dwell in the Torah Milky Way on a galactical scale. Flow solar, hawk, polar, Yahweh soldier. With composure, stay sober, the world is over. When the prophets arrive, keep it kosher.
Good. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. Yes, so the Passover, I hopefully you had an amazing Passover. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you've seen the amazing works that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is doing throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. But we're going to talk about Babylon today. You know what I mean? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai send the angels to sever the wicked from the just. All right, we're gonna talk about it. But first we're gonna pray. Okay. Um yeah, let's say the prayers first, okay? This is the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kwadash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakbaka, Thawa'a, Ratazaka, Aya, Asha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashemayim, Natananawa, Lachom, Kau, Yawam, Wasalah Nawa, Kabwa Nawa, Kasalah Nawa, Kabawah Yanawa, Wala'a, Thabi Nawa, Banasai 1, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Wata Palarof, Lawalumnium. All right, so you can find that in Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 through 13. That's the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew. So let's get it. You know what I mean? Gotta get back on track. You know what I'm saying? Missed last week due to the opening of Passover, which a lot of things happened since then. So I can't talk about all of them today, but we will. Most High willing, still here, still got electricity, lights on, all that good stuff. We'll get into other topics next week, but the most pertinent ones we're going to talk about today, in my humble opinion. Okay. This class is called Severing the Wicked and the Just. I'm your host, or, for teaching this class, Chassadyah, HOI Philly, and my swordsman for today.
Shikanya, HOI ATL.
Yeah, Philly ATL connection. You already know what it is. So double honors to our elders, still waking up the lost sheep of Israel in these last days. You know what I'm saying? And Kwame Ashala, Rise Israel. You so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the true Israelites according to the Bible. These are the last days. We about to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm lying, I'm flying. I ain't flying yet, but most are willing when Yahweh comes back, we'll have that ability. You know what I mean? Not the lying part, the flying part. All right. So of course we're going to say Fair Use Act. Fair Use Act. The video is protected by the Fair Use Act. Teaching a class, so thus being protected by the Fair Use Act. All right. So let's get into it. Let's start first with Matthew chapter 13 and verse 49. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch. What did Trump say? He's going to destroy a whole civilization. Yeah, that's the president of the United States. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's supposed to have some decorum. Be what's the word? He's refined. You know what I'm saying? But main man is a damn tyrant, man. You know what I'm talking about? And so he said that's what he's going to do. As far as nuke Iran, but he tacoed out. What does taco mean? Taco means Trump always chickens out. You know what I'm saying? And we'll talk about all that. But let's first start with that. Matthew chapter 13, verse 49.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13, and verse 49. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angel shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just.
So we are in that realm, right? We are in that time period is here. Okay. I'll tell you one thing. I came up with this, when I say I came up, but the premise of this class, right? Today, I was meditating, right? And during this meditation, right, I'm trying to think of a name for the class. You know what I'm saying? Well, like, I'm gonna meditate. This is a good day, right? To meditate, because one is Passover still. I mean, now, depending on where you're at in the world, the sun went down, possibly. But as I went into my meditation, right, the first thing I saw was a man with a hat riding a tractor, right? And I'm like, what does this mean? You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking, okay, Freddy Krueger, you know what I mean? He's gonna be Most High is gonna be running up in Esau's house at night, and you know what I mean, keeping him up at night and just vexing him to no end, right? But the more I thought about it, I'm like, hold up, but Freddy Krueger was based upon I don't want to say real life, but you can say that. It's based upon somebody that comes to you at night and torments you, right? The the name given, layman's would be the Hat Man, right? If you know anything about, we talked about this during Wednesday classes, but to kind of revisit, um, like shadow figures be like vexing people at night, meaning like they'll rip you out of bed. If you ain't got a hedge of protection around you, you catching it. And Esau catches it all the time. All the time. And I put videos up with Esau getting ripped out of bed, they children getting pulled underneath the bed, like just some of the most horrific nightmare fuel things you can think of, right? So and that's what Freddy Krueger comes to at night, right? And this I guess deity, or entity rather, Hat Man, is like the boss. It's almost like, I would say, like the like how the Archangel Michael is like a powerful force for on good. This entity will be on the opposite side. You know what I mean? Like almost like pure evil. You know what I mean? People see it, they get really upset and scared, fearful, and all that, right? And it's kind of based upon that's what Freddy Krueger is based upon, rather. So I saw that type of figure on a tractor, and I'm like, what does that mean? But then, as I further meditated, it came to pass that I think I know what that means. So let's stay in Matthew. Let's go up to verse 36. Bubba Gashar.
Book of Matthew 13 and 36. Then Jesus sent the multitude away and went into the house. And his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field.
Read on.
He answered and said unto them, He that sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one.
Keep going.
The enemy that sold them us the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels.
So this guy was riding on a tractor as a reaper. You know what I'm saying? When I say like a tractor, meaning like, people ride when they're in the fields reaping the harvest. You know what I'm saying? So that had me flip what, my aim during this class. I'm like, all right, let's talk about it, because some things happen this week where you can't make it up. You know what I'm saying? You only gotta see. You just had to see it for yourself. Okay, and that's what we're going to do now. Go ahead, King. You keep reading.
Verse 40. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of the world. This world.
Read on.
The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity.
Them which do iniquity, right? And all things that offend. So this is time for pretty much a mass.
Hello, everyone. This is
people are going to get destroyed, right? People are going to get destroyed. Now, look, this is something we talked about not last week, the week before. These meteors that have been falling all over the country and presumably the world, but especially we've been seeing them here in America. And with that being said, this person right here, he's his YouTube page is Space Weather and has a huge following. And that's pretty much all he does. You know what I mean? Talk about what's going on with the sun, different levels of solar flares, so forth and so on, how they can interact with the earth, causing earthquakes. You know what I mean? If a solar flare happens in this quadrant of the sun, 9 times out of 10, or there's a certain percentage, you're going to have an earthquake in Indonesia, or you're going to have an earthquake in Hawaii, or something to that effect, right? Speaking of Indonesia, they had a 7.8 earthquake, magnitude earthquake, the day of opening the Passover. So, but this is what he says about the meteors, and kind of look at his face. Like Esau's he's kind of humbled down. You know what I mean? He kind of knows a few things. You know what I'm saying? Or, well, let me let him tell you.
Hello, everyone. This is just a quick message. I am here at Observer Ranch, and I'm going to have to go be me in just a second. But this deserves a quick word about all of the meteors being seen right now. Most of them are not meteors. Interestingly, this whole fervor began with the Ohio meteor explosion, which was a meteor, followed by a double SpaceX launch, 2 in the same day, visible from 22 different states. And since then, there have been several other fireballs, as most of you know. It would be very easy for me as a space weather guy, meteors are part of space weather, to jump on this and get a bunch of views, given the fact that there is extra material coming with the galactic current sheet, and we have been noticing it. It has been detected in the form of extra dust by event horizons out past Pluto, all the way to the solar corona. It would be very easy for me to jump on this and say, ooh, could this be the galactic current sheet? Scare you a little bit, get a bunch of clicks that way. The fact of the matter is, I know meteors. I know what we should be expecting. These things are not meteors. They are moving far too slowly to be meteors. If you watch them, you will see that is the case. UAP landing craft, destroyed spy satellites. This is something that was in orbit. Okay, these are not meteors. This is something that it was either already in orbit or it slowed down and then entered our atmosphere. These are not meteors. And so these are either UAPs, or we are witnessing the greatest AI video hoax in history. I will admit I am not the best when it comes to noticing AI videos, but I think at this point it's fairly safe to say everybody agrees that there are a ton of these fireball sightings, and at least the vast majority of them are not AI. There are enough of them out there. NASA is even mentioning, hey, we have an uptick. And I'm telling you that the explanation that would normally be given, which I said several days ago, that in the spring to summertime, there should be an uptick in meteors. That happens every single year. What we're seeing now aren't meteors. This is something else.
Let's head to the weather center, because with that clear sky.
Okay, so Esau's pretty hesitant to say, they might be UAPs. And for those who might not know, UAP is unidentified aerial phenomenon. They stopped saying UFOs just because Esau can do what he wants. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Gulf of Mexico is now the Gulf of America. You know what I mean? They switch it up whenever, whenever they feel fit. But chariots, that's pretty much what he's saying. He's saying these things, the way they coming in, they don't seem to be meteors. Really? You know what I mean? What gave it away? That the fact that some of them stop and change direction, that they flip and start going in circles or do U-turns, and you know what I mean, disappear and then reappear. So yeah, they're not meteors. Okay, let's get Revelation 9 and 15. We're going to talk about it because right now we are still in the field, right? of what you would call the debris field of 3i Atlas. We have been here. And all of a sudden, these strange meteors, quote unquote, have been coming through in the sky and really all over Babylon, Texas, Ohio, California, Pennsylvania. One just flew by, I believe, 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? From like Connecticut to New Jersey, you know what I mean, everywhere in between. And geophysicist Stefan Burns, he's also a YouTuber and obviously a geophysicist. He said this is not a meteor, you know what I'm saying? He says this is a UFO. He said the UFOs are here. And this is somebody that doesn't jump out the jet like that. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody that's, oh, we're going to figure out what it is. We'll, you know, do the analysis and this, that, and the third. He's like, nah, UFOs are here. So it's being very well researched and documented that these things aren't meteors. And we're going to talk about some things that they're doing. But let's get that. Revelation 9 and 15, King.
So that's the book of Revelation, chapter 9 and verse 15. And the 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men.
Khan, read on.
And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them.
Khan. So these, you know, this prophesied that, you know, when Yahushua comes back, it's going to be a bunch of chariots. You know what I'm saying? And what we can see is that we're seeing a bunch of chariots. Okay. Let's continue on. Let's go to, in fact, let's get Luke chapter 21 and verse 28. This happened in Philadelphia. And like I said, through Connecticut, through New Jersey, right? This meteor is going super fast. I say meteor, quote unquote. This chariot was going super fast, and you know, bringing up the Las Vegas incident where a chariot landed in the backyard of somebody named Angel, right? And they have videos of that interaction. People have broken down the videos. I don't have it right now, but maybe next week, we're still here, I'll put that up, and you can see they were beings all over his backyard. Very strange incident. He had a camera pointed there. They never showed the footage of the camera. The police went back there with their body cam footage. They said, oh, we can't release it because this is somebody else's property. Very strange things happened with that whole incident. But and it started off with people seeing what looked like a meteor falling from the sky. So there that is. Let's go to, let's bring that out in Luke, King.
Come. It's the book of Luke, chapter 21, and verse 28. And when these things began to come to pass, then look up and lift up your head, for your redemption draweth nigh.
Your redemption draweth nigh. Let's watch the next video. This is the local meteor scene in Philadelphia.
Let's head to the weather center, because with that clear sky, we actually had a little something flying through the air around 2:30. A fireball. This was sent in by Brittany, and not only did we get a couple of viewers seeing it, it's right here. I'm going to keep showing you right there, that little streak that went across the sky very quickly, not very, very bright, but something that some did see this happen. The American Meteor Society also noted a couple of those in South Jersey and southern parts of Delaware this afternoon. So kind of a little comet coming through as some debris burned up into our atmosphere.
So you say. Now, let's see what happened as a result of these things, right? Because that's what really, you know, that's what really puts the cherry on top, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the Most High is a God of judgment, loves judgment. And one thing that I noticed, notice this at the Passover closing yesterday, that, you know, the amount of violence that happened yesterday was crazy. And the people that got, you know, the people that were victim of those violent acts. Um, it was very scriptural, if you will. Let's get Ezekiel 9, and we'll start at verse 1. Very, very strange, but telling, especially with the, you know, the vision, the mind's eye vision, you know, that came across. Is something that has to be talked about. So when you got it, you can bring it out, King. Ezekiel 9 and 4.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, beginning at verse 1. He cried also in my ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand.
Read on.
And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughtered weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, with a rider's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar.
He said, look, come on in. You know what I mean? Look, we about to destroy some things, right? They came in with their weapons. Go ahead.
And the glory of God of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was, to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the rider's inkhorn by his side.
So, you know, how was like, you know, to these destroying angels, you know what I mean? Bring your weapons with you, okay? Now let's see what he says. Go verse 4.
Verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that had been done in the midst thereof.
So, you know what I mean? If you upset that, you know, this is an oppressive place here in America, that you're going through it, that your people get last hired, first fired, you know what I mean? Like, if you're just upset and you ask the Most High, please, you know, destroy this place. You know, Most High said to the angel, set a mark upon those men, right? Go ahead.
And to the others he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity.
So this is a killing field, right? Read verse 6, please.
Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin in my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house.
Began with the ancient men. So let's we're going to hold on to that verse 6. We're going to read that a few times because something happened yesterday that it was very obvious. You know what I'm saying? Very obvious that it was a judgment in Philadelphia yesterday, and we're going to talk about it. All right.
Now to a remarkable story concerning that small plane crash in a park in the city's
Slovakia. I'm going to get to that. That's another one. Let's start with this one.
A man was killed following a confrontation with police in West Philadelphia. Authorities say the 75-year-old and officers exchanged gunfire early this morning on the 5400 block of Webster Street. Action News reporter Maggie Kent now with the details on the deadly encounter.
A 75-year-old man is dead after police responded to a call about a man with a gun. Police say 2 shots were fired here, one by an officer and one by the man himself. And now they're looking into the sequence of events. A tight-knit neighborhood on the 5400 block of Webster Street now in shock.
It's a sad day for Webster Street, and I know to me especially, I can speak. He was a kind and good neighbor.
Just after 7 a.m., neighbors say 75-year-old Anthony McKinley was killed by police gunfire. you can hear a pop of a gunshot over police radio. Police say the 75-year-old fired his gun first.
There was very quickly a confrontation between the two. The male had a firearm. There were shots fired during that confrontation, and the male was struck one time, taken immediately by the officer's partner to Penn Presby, and at 7:33 he was pronounced at the hospital.
The call was for a report of a man with a gun. When officers 18th district arrived, top brass says they found the 75-year-old with a handgun on the porch of an occupied family home.
Like really, on your daggone steps.
Y'all see that? Look at that in the middle of the street. What does it say? Repent. Repent. Where did that? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And you see the sister that's talking, the elder sister that's talking, she got a shirt that says "Love God." You know what I mean? You can't make this up. And I guarantee, I can almost guarantee that after that man got hit, I don't think somebody ran out there and wrote that on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Because by the time that happened, the cops, you see all the tape. You know, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. The cops probably, you know, they immediately taped that off, called the, what they say, top brass, the white shirts over there. You know what I mean? That was written on there, I'm sure. And it's right outside this man's house. You know what I mean? And even if it was written later, even so, you gotta see it. You gotta pay attention. And watching this first time I seen it, I didn't know that was there. I didn't know that was there. Repent. All right, let's keep going.
On the porch of an occupied family home.
Like really, on your daggone steps. Like what happened? Questions, no answers. Not yet.
Investigators say it happened quickly. In all, 2 shots were fired. In the end, McKinley was killed by an officer's shot. Neighbors are in disbelief.
Never had or show it.
Slocky, let me see. I just want to see these shirts. I love God, but some of his children get on my nerves. Oh boy. I hear you, sis. I hear you. Let's say Jesus over people, please. Jesus, please, rather than people pleaser. Okay. Both of them got those shirts, though. Can't make that up either. All right, let's keep going.
Are in disbelief.
Never had or show any signs of mental illness or none of that stuff. Or no. It's unjustifiable.
Determining if the shooting was justified will be the job of the DA's Special Investigation Unit and the Philadelphia Police Officer-Involved Shooting Unit, which is examining evidence to help piece together a timeline.
The officer's body camera was activated, so we have to review that. There's a firearm recovered from the male, so we have to do a lot of analysis.
Police have footage from the officer's camera and doorbell camera footage here as well. They'll be compiling that to get a clear picture of what happened and when. In West Philadelphia, Maggie Kent, Channel 6.
All right, can you read Ezekiel 9 and 6?
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 9 and verse 6. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and began at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house.
He began with the ancient men that were before the house. Okay, you got a 75-year-old man on his porch with his pistol, and he got shot by the police. Now, gentrification is a real thing. I can almost guarantee, I'm not going to guarantee, I can almost guarantee that it's some new Edomite that just moved in. Everybody knows this man on this block. Everybody knows he got his, you know, his revolver or something like that. He's sitting on his own porch. You know what I'm saying? In Philadelphia, you know, you sit on your porch, you might have your strap on you. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Somebody could run up on you. Somebody, you know, come in your house. You know, it's just things that go on in the city that, you know, brothers, you know, protect themselves, you know, protect their family, right? So some Edomite, I'm just guessing, this moved in 3 weeks ago. It's looking like, oh my God, he has a gun. Let me call the police, because if everybody on the block knows him, then they just walk up to him like, yo, such and such, you good? He's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Just cleaning my gun, or just, you know, just felt like bringing it out today. Like, all right, you know, going to the store. You want something? You know what I mean? Like, but Esau sitting there looking out the window, probably called the cops. So it's not over. You know, it just happened. That just happened. It happened at 7:30 in the morning yesterday, right? So, you know, they could tear up the city for this. You know, we shall see. What it say? Start with the ancient men in front of. What it say? Begin with the ancient men which were before the house. All right. Let's keep going. We're gonna read this again. Okay, we're gonna read the same scripture again. All right. Let's go on to the next story. It's all happened yesterday. He got repent written in big letters on the block. Come on, man. You feel me?
Police are investigating a deadly triple shooting tonight in West Philadelphia. Skyfox over the scene on 60th and Market. One person is dead and 2 hospitalized. Dawn Timoney at police headquarters. Dawn, and what have you learned tonight from police?
Well, Jason, investigators say this was clearly a targeted shooting and a bold one at that. It happened at a very busy intersection. There were lots of people out, and it was still light out when police say the gunman opened fire on a 20-year-old woman. It was just before 6:30 tonight when police say officers on patrol in West Philadelphia heard multiple gunshots coming from 60th and Market Streets.
Police officers were just about a block away, so they immediately went to the scene and they found 3 shooting victims.
Police say a 20-year-old woman had been shot in the face and throughout her body. She was rushed to Penn Presbyterian Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. A 55-year-old woman and a 24-year-old man also shot multiple times, both also taken to Penn Presbyterian.
The scene consists of 27 spent shell casings, so we know at least 27 shots were fired by 2 separate caliber semi-automatic weapons.
Investigators say multiple shots appear to come from a semi-automatic rifle. They say the entire incident was caught on various surveillance cameras, which show 3 men driving a small dark-colored SUV stop, jump out, and start firing in the direction of the 20-year-old.
You can clearly see the front seat passenger run up onto the sidewalk, stand over this 20-year-old female as she's laying on the sidewalk, and fire shots from point-blank range.
Police say the 20-year-old was carrying a pizza she had just purchased from a pizza shop right around the corner and was...
So question real quick. Yesterday was what? Passover, right?
Oh,
Passover. What we not supposed to be eating in order to Passover?
Lamb.
You know what I mean? So this sister, 20 years old, got a slice of pizza, and minutes later was gunned down, 27 shots. He said a lot of those shots with a rifle. So that's probably like an AK, you know what I mean, AR, something like that. More than likely an AK, if I'm a betting man or a guessing man. So, you know what I mean? It don't pay. That's a sin. That's literally a sin. It says do not. We'll get that too. We'll get that. Let's finish watching the rest of the video, then we're going to get that. All right.
walking alone when she was shot. As for the other 2 victims,
we don't know if they were also intended targets or if they were struck by stray gunfire. Unknown at this time.
so it is actually possible they were just innocent victims here. The 24-year-old and the 55-year-old are in stable condition. So far, police say they have no motive for this shooting, but they say surveillance captured the SUV leaving the scene from various angles. So, Sheba, they do have a lot of video evidence in this case. Back to you.
Yeah, still so perplexing. Hopefully we'll have more answers tomorrow. Dawn, thank you.
Now at 11, the big story on
Hold on. Not yet. Let's get Exodus 12 and verse 15. You know, so it's not unusual for somebody to get shot in Philadelphia. Okay, like I'm sure everybody that on this call understands that, but on this lesson understands that. But when it's a 75-year-old man, that's kind of like, wow, that's too old. You know what I mean? Retirement age, you should be chilling, not getting shot by the police. And then you see a woman get gunned down by men, you know what I mean? That's kind of perplexing. You got to sit back like, wow, what did she do to, you know what I mean? 27 shots in broad daylight. That block has police stationed out there. You know what I mean? It's sad, but you know what I mean? Like the police have to sit out there or stuff like this happens. You know what I mean? People get off the train or L or whatever and they get shot or not a shot, robbed or whatever. So it's a very busy spot where bad things can happen. You know what I mean? Same thing on like 52nd Street where HOI came up, in the early days back in like 2019, stuff like that. And it's just, it's just a crazy spot. You know what I mean? 60th Street. We had camp out there. We used to hold camp. REI came up, Maccabees, you know what I mean? It was the early days of HOI Philly. We held camp up there a few times and try to wake our brothers and sisters up. I did a couple videos out there. People, as soon as the cops leave, somebody's getting shot, sadly, but that happens. But I did a couple videos up there. But now, the day of, the ending of Passover, right before that time, triple shooting, one person died. Let's bring that out, King.
Book of Exodus, chapter 12, and verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day unto the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
That soul shall be cut off from Israel. All right. Now let's go back to Ezekiel 9 and 6. All right.
This book of Ezekiel, chapter 9 and verse 6. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. Become not near, Slaki, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house.
Okay. So there you go. Right now you have an older man and a maid. Now let's get to the next video. Now I seen this pop up on notifications as we were actually at the Passover closing.
Now at 11, the big story on Action News is breaking news: a deadly double shooting in the city's West Oak Lane section. 2 teenagers gunned down during a neighborhood basketball game. We know a 13-year-old was killed and a 14-year-old injured. Action News reporter Leland Pinder live from the scene along the 7100 block of North 19th Street with the latest on the police investigation. Leland.
Greg, take a look in the street, all the evidence markers here and investigators on scene tonight. They say they found 15 to 20 shell casings here at the scene, but no weapons. Let's show you some video from earlier this evening. This all happened as Chopper 6 was overhead about 8:45 in the 7100 block of North 19th Street here in West Oak Lane. The 2 teens were rushed to Einstein Hospital by responding officers, where the 13-year-old boy died and the 14-year-old boy is right now in serious but stable condition. Investigators say this all unfolded during a basketball game.
Based on what we know so far, it looks like these 2 gunshot victims were playing basketball in a makeshift basketball court, which was behind some of the houses here, when some sort of altercation broke out between various persons, and that escalated to gunfire, leading to these 2 young men being shot.
Again, a 13-year-old boy dead, a 14-year-old in the hospital. Now, this just happened about 2 hours ago, so the investigation really just beginning. Police, right now they're looking for video and witnesses. They don't have a motive or anyone in custody And as you can see, they continue to process the crime scene here tonight. But for now, that's the latest here in West Oak Lane. Leland Pinder, Channel 6, Action News.
So let's go back. Ezekiel 9 and verse 6.
Leland.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9 and 6. Straight utterly old and young.
Slakia. So old, 75. Young, 13. Go ahead.
Both maids.
Maids, 20 years old, just got a slice of pizza during Passover, leavened bread. Go ahead.
And little children.
13-year-old. Go ahead.
And women.
You already know. Go
but
ahead.
come not near any man upon whom is the mark.
Salakia. So that's very important. You know what I'm saying? When you ask yourself, you know, what am I doing this for? You know what I mean? I'm following the laws of God. You know what I mean? People call me crazy. You know what I mean? My family don't like me no more. They feel uncomfortable around me. They say you're in a cult. You know what I mean? Like, you know, why go through all this for that protection? You know what I'm saying? Of course, because you're doing for what's right. You know, the Most High God says, do this. All right, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to eat leavened bread. That's not a problem for 1 week. You know, I'm going to gather myself together with like-minded individuals that want to follow the Most High God. I have no problem doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a benefit from that would be the protection, you know, of the angels. Because right now, it seems to me that more now than ever, the Lord God is cutting people off. He's severing the wicked from the just. And who do you consider wicked? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Obviously, that's a marker that the Most High God has. But from the scriptures is people that don't follow the law, statute, commandments written in the Bible. You know, that follow Easter. You know, bunnies don't lay eggs, but they're having Easter egg hunts. You know, God said never celebrate. He didn't say celebrate the time that I died. You know what I mean? He has our feast days. He has what we should be doing written for thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? People that are making up their own laws. You know, HOI celebrated Passover, but I'm going to celebrate Easter. You know, Paul celebrated Pentecost, but, you know, Christmas is my thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, going to July 4th cookouts, you know, that's wicked in the eyes of God because you're doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing. Brothers come outside on the street corners, on the internet, just trying to embody this is what you should be doing. You should be following the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High God. And people refuse to listen. They refuse to hearken. They refuse to hear. How long is God going to, you know, say, yeah, you're good. You know what I mean? I'm going to leave you alone. Nah, people don't want to listen. So bad things inevitably happen. Okay. Go ahead. Did you finish that out?
Lucky.
Come on.
And began in my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house.
And now you can't make that up either, man. You know what I'm saying? Like with the ancient men that were before the house. Yeah. It's we in that realm. We in that spot where, you know what I mean, you following the laws of God and fearing the Most High God is the best thing you can do, because people are gonna be taken out of here. And if it hasn't happened in your neck of the woods as of yet, it will. I can almost guarantee that it will. You know what I mean? And soon. All right, soon. Okay, so that is the Philly judgment. In fact, no, let me go back. My bad, y'all. I had it out of give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Now this is very interesting. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7. Okay, this happened also during Passover, right? And it seemed like a lot was going on. A lot of judgments taking place during Passover, and it always happens that way. Passover is a very dangerous time, you know, and that's why, you know, we should be doing everything in our power that we don't have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? We want to bypass the judgments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You know what I mean? Get these blessings rather than these curses. You know what I'm saying? Khan, so much happened over the weekend in different states. I'm so thankful all my kids was with me. I know that's right. I know that's right. All right. So let's bring that out. Revelation 12 and 7, Bubba Shaw.
Come on, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels.
Read on.
And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven.
So we've been seeing a lot of plane crashes going on. You know what I mean? Because Esau wants to get up in his plane and you know, get close to the Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You've seen they allegedly are going further than they ever went to in the moon. You know, it seems like a distraction from Epstein files and World War III, but you know, we all know that. But planes have been crashing. A lot of F-15s over there in Iran. They knocked down about 8 planes in one day, I believe. You know, transport planes and fighter jets. And that's like a direct contradiction, right, to what Trump was saying. Trump was like, yo, we got air superiority. Nobody can do anything. We won the war. We just happen to be over there. I need some help. You know, you guys better help me or I'm going to leave NATO. Matter of fact, I'm going to leave NATO. Like, he's all over the place. And I ain't even really touch on that, you know what I mean, this class. But Trump is all over the place. The man is not well. He is not well, okay? But these plane crashes. Crimea had a huge plane crash, or it's not Crimea. I think Russia over there, Crimea had a huge plane crash. Colombia had a huge plane crash. Like LaGuardia had a plane crash. The pilots died. You know what I mean? So, and Philadelphia had a plane crash as well. Can you read verse 9?
Verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out unto the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
All praise and honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Now, the person that crashed a plane in this video was a police officer. He was off duty. He was learning how to fly. So maybe he wanted to be, you know, a pilot one day or something like that. But the Most High knocked him out the sky. And this crazy Jake was helping him fly. Right. Let's get that too. In Isaiah 13 and I believe 15. Jake was helping him fly. He falls, right? We'll get to the scripture. You know, the plane crashes, and Jake was like, man, I had a couple scratches, you know, my ankle hurt or whatever like that. Esau, fibula gone, head shattered. I said, dang, man, the Most High was with the brother, but you know, not so much. Esau, the off-duty cop, not so much. Not so much. That 15. Can you read that? Isaiah 13, verse 15.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
This ain't a good time to be really close to your Edomite friends. They already gonna get trashed. They're getting trashed, gonna get trashed some more. You know, might be best just to give it a rest, okay? You don't want to be with them when their judgment comes, and then you got to catch that joint as well. All right, so here's the video on that.
Now to a remarkable story concerning that small plane crash in a park in the city's Torresdale section last week. Tonight, the student pilot, an off-duty Philadelphia police officer, is talking for the first time about the ordeal. Action News reporter Brownie Gallagher spoke to him as he still recovers in the hospital from his injuries.
That off-duty Philadelphia police officer is still in the hospital recovering. He has a long road ahead of him. We spoke with him tonight as he was being moved out of the ICU here at Jefferson. He said there's one thing that he wants to make clear.
The one thing that I want to stress is this was not a crash.
It was nearly a week ago when a flight instructor heroically landed the small plane in Torresdale without injuring anyone on the ground. Daniel Eckert, an off-duty Philadelphia police officer, was on one of his last training flights.
We're 2,300 pounds of metal with 40 gallons of fuel, and we're falling, and all I see is houses.
He said they went through pre-flight check. Takeoff was normal. They were heading back to practice more takeoffs and landings when the engine just quit.
I just said to my instructor, John, I just lost my engine.
That's when John ate.
Right, just lost my engine. Let's get Isaiah 49 and verse 4, because on the wing of the plane it said I saw 49 and 4. So you know what I mean. Let's get it. You know, got repent on the ground where 75-year-old Jake was assassinated by the police. You know, we got Isaiah 49 and 4, just, you know what I mean, written on the side of a plane that crashed. And look at Esau talking about it was not a crash. Well, it looks like a crash, Esau. And since you're still in the hospital after all your surgeries, you crashed, okay? And he said, what he say? He said the engine just stopped working. Like, can you imagine that? Can you imagine driving your car and the engine stops working? You know what I mean? That happens, you know? You got an electrical issue or whatever like that, and you got to pull over or, you know, start it up again. And, you know what I mean? That's rough, you know? But when you are, I don't know how many feet in the air, hundreds of feet, 1,000 feet. I don't know. Don't give me the line. 1,000 feet in the air, and then your engine stops. And they talked to this brother right here, and he was like, 20 minutes ago, we were doing a like a simulation about what do you do when the engine stops, and 20 minutes later, guess what? The engine stops. Yo, God ain't no joke. Just definitely respect him and fear him. Okay, go ahead, King. You can bring it out.
Come. The book of Isaiah 49 and 4. Then I said, I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for it's not, and in vain. Yet surely my judgment is with the Lord, and my work with my God.
You know what I mean? Saying, you know, I worked for nothing. It was hopeless. You know what I mean? I used up my strength. I ain't accomplished anything, right? This is the GNT saying. It says, like, yeah, I can trust in the Lord to defend my cause, and he will reward me for what I do, you know? So don't think that, you know, your labor's in vain going, you know, getting on a plane, train, automobile to make it to a Passover, you know, make it to a feast day, you know, spending money on food and garments and tolls and, you know what I mean? Just your hair, your nails, and doing all this stuff. And you're like, dang, man, you know, wow, I'm hurting right now. You know what I mean? Pockets is on E. You know, like, what I do this for? You know, I could have stayed at home and watched it online and, you know, this, then, the third, right? And a lot of brothers and sisters had to do that because it just wasn't there. You know what I mean? Couldn't just make it up out of nowhere, you know? But the things the sacrifices you make to serve your Heavenly Father, you know, is not in vain. You know what I'm saying? Let's watch the rest of this.
The instructor took over. He said air traffic control told them they had a runway ready at Northeast Philadelphia Airport. However, they weren't going to make it.
They declared they were having engine troubles. They just had to land off the field.
He had 90 seconds to get us to get down from where we were. And every decision he made, he had less than a second to make.
Next thing he knew, he said the fire department was cutting him out of the airplane because he was trapped. Since then, he's had 2 surgeries, recovering from a shattered tibia and fibula, a broken forearm, a skull fracture, and a lot of cuts and bruises.
I don't know what the outlook is going to be for when I can actually fly again, but I will be able to, and that's the important part.
Now, once he's able to...
Esau still, you mean? Esau like, okay. He might have got me now, but I'll be back. Man, if you don't sit your behind down, Esau don't know judgment. That's we can say that with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai of the you know, the way the Lord works as far as hardening their hearts. You know what I'm saying? I'll be back out there. That's like Pharaoh. You can't go. You got to stay here. You know, blood, water, lice, flies, boils, frogs. You just don't get it. You know what I mean? But yeah, how about Shemal Shai? You know how he is. He's really on some. I'm gonna drag you. You know, I'm gonna drag you. This ain't gonna be a one hour judgment. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna keep going, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, so. Kind of go ahead, King.
All that man said he don't call it a crash.
What's right?
The medical staff, the news media call it a crash. I'm gonna call it a crash.
Right? That looked like a plane crash to me. You know, he said broken forearm, head, staples in his head, broken tibula, fibula, Abdullah Abangada. I don't know. Everything messed up with Esau, man. And he's like, well, it wasn't a crash. It was an incident. That's like Donald Trump. That's not a war. You know, it's not a war. It's just, we're just not agreeing right now, and we're dropping bombs on each other. So it's just not. It's not what you call a war. Something wrong with Esau, man. Upstairs, and he ain't right. He ain't right. All right. You know. Let's continue on with the judgments that are taking place throughout Philadelphia right now. You know what I mean? Still in Philadelphia. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. Let's see. And 2. Matthew chapter 24 and 2. Okay, now I just want to remind you all, there was a meteor, quote unquote, seen in the sky. You know what I'm saying? We all know how Passover gets down. Like the Most High is judging on Passover. But these meteors, wink, wink, add a whole nother layer, a whole nother level to what's going on. We got to keep that in mind. Now, Philly made the breaking news, national news again. And we'll talk about what happened. Let's bring that out. Matthew 24 and 2.
Cards book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 2. And Jesus said unto them, this is Slaki. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Red letter.
Destroying this joint, right? So, Slaki. Now this is in South Philly. We went all over the city. West Philly, North, well, West Oak Lanes, Northish. The judgments of the Yahweh Shem Shai. Now this is South Philly.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Brian Tapp alongside Sarah Bloomquist, and we interrupt programming right now with breaking news unfolding as we speak in Philadelphia's Grays Ferry neighborhood.
Yeah, we want to get right out to Chopper 6 live over this parking garage. Police say at least one person is injured here after this collapse here at this parking garage under construction in Grays Ferry. That person transported to the hospital in critical condition. We believe there are others still trapped inside, and there is an all-out effort right now.
So, was it like update? Yeah, he didn't make it, so it's not injured. He's died.
To locate anyone who may be trapped there in the rubble.
And to draw your attention to the site where first responders are focusing right now, it's the lower floors here on the sort of right side of that structure. From our vantage point, we can see it appears that several of those floors appear to have collapsed. We can also see that first responders are keeping some distance from the scene right now. We did see a drone flying, obviously, as they're sort of getting the sense of the structural integrity of that building before they put any first responders into harm's way by going inside to address those individuals who may be trapped inside. Let's get right to Action News' John Paul, live near the scene. John, we can see that over your shoulder. What are you learning from the scene right now?
Yeah, Brian, Sarah, I'm staying in the parking lot just across the street from this collapse itself. Now, you had mentioned where this was all happening. It's in that large shaft right there. We believe that is the stairwell or where the elevator would go. And it looks like that collapsed. Maybe some stairs inside there are what collapsed and kind of pancaked down. What the focus has been at the bottom. There's been some ladders up there, and there's a lot of rubble there. What I've confirmed is they extricated one person from the rubble itself, but there are reports that 2 other people may be trapped inside, and so they're doing a search. Right now, they're kind of standing back. As you mentioned, they do need to assess the situation before they can put other people in there. They have to make sure that it is structurally sound. Now, this was under construction as well. You can see there's a crane behind it, so they were actively working on this. We don't know exactly how many construction crews were working on it at the time, but there was some sort of collapse. It appears maybe the stairs came down. Now, those would be cement stairs that they bring in prefabricated and they put into these. And then it looks like that may have come down somehow and trapped at least one person, possibly 3. Now, that one person they pulled out, they were taken to the hospital. We're told they are in extremely critical condition at this hour, but no further updates from Philadelphia Fire. Philadelphia Police here as well. They're keeping an eye on things. They have the drone up. They're only here to kind of help out the firefighters, and they have that drone to kind of assess the situation as well. But again, this parking garage is under construction, collapsed about 45 minutes ago or so at this point. One person critically injured. There is a search right now for 2 others who could possibly be in that rubble as crews are trying to figure that out. That is the latest as we have it here in Grace Ferry. Brian, Sarah, I'll send it back to you if you have.
All right. So, yeah, national news once again. So, a parking garage fell on somebody. That has to hurt. You know what I'm saying? But scriptures talk about, not one stone, going to be standing when this thing's all done. Now, we can look at Lebanon today. I'm sure you all aware Trump was like, we're going to destroy the civilization of the you might as well say Persian civilization, but he was talking about like nuking them, and everybody's saying, 25th Amendment, we got to get him out of here. He's crazy, right? Here you go, Iran makes a deal with the devil, which heathens, they ain't too smart. They ain't too bright. You know what I'm saying? You make a deal with the devil, the same devil that has habitually stabbed you in the back during negotiations. Like, you're going to negotiate with them, like, oh, negotiations going good, and all of a sudden your country gets bombed, and then you go to negotiations like, yo, what happened? They're like, who knows? Maybe it was your bomb that went off. So they did it once with Israel. They did it twice with America and Israel. During negotiations, they're coming out saying everything's good, and they get blown up. So, not the smartest, or the sharpest tools in the toolbox. But then here they go making another deal and expecting something good to happen. It's not what happened. They did a ceasefire, but at the same time, they've been bombing them. They bombed Lebanon and killed so far 200 plus people, injured 1,000. So I'm sure those thousands are going to not make it too. So that number of deaths can go up. And it's almost like the ceasefire never happened. You know what I mean? Strait of Hormuz, I believe, is still closed to like 99% of people. That's what China reported on. So that ceasefire, you throw it out the window. It seems like peace, and then sudden destruction can come about. So stay focused, stay girded. You know what I mean? But let's continue on. What's the next one? I think we're going to talk about Congress. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to get into Congress. Is scared. Why is Congress scared? Why are politicians scared? Because they're starting to get information regarding the chariots and the angels that they can be walking around and you don't know who you're talking to or who you are. They thought it's a regular person, but it's actually an angel. But we're going to get to that. Before we do, if everyone could please like, share, comment on the video to get the algorithm going in the right direction, not the white direction. Because Esau will be watching our videos and they immediately thumbs down. You know what I'm saying? So we got to combat these pale people. All right. Do the right thing. Okay. So now let's get 2 Corinthians. Let me see. 2 Corinthians, I believe 5 and 11. Yeah, 2 Corinthians 5 and 11, Bubba Shaw. Let's get that. And we'll answer a lot of questions for people. Go ahead, King. We got it. You can bring it out. You there, King?
Oh, what was the stop slacking? Hold on. Bam.
2 Corinthians 5 and 11.
Yeah, Kyle.
Okay.
Corinthians 5 and 11. This book of 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 11. Knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men, but we are made manifest unto God, and I trust also are made manifest in your consequence. Slaki, your consciousness.
Kind. So we know the terror of God. That's why we're out there. Like, repent. Do you hear me? Shaking them almost. Repent. Like I said, written in big letters on 55th and Webster. Repent. All right, come back to the law, statutes, commandments in the Bible. You don't understand what you got yourself into. The fact that you're on this planet and you are not following the Most High God, that means He don't need you. He will destroy you. He will destroy everything you know and love in the most audacious way possible. You know what I mean? In the most savage way you could ever think of. He's good and terrible. Repent. Stop it. Stop sinning. You know what I mean? So it seems that Congress is getting that as well. They said, if I tell you what it is that they told me, this whole in disclosure, they have like these skiffs or whatever where they're able to sit back and talk about the what's it called, top secret information or whatever, right? They talk top secret information, and then they say, can't tell the world, right? He said, if I told y'all, man, this place would come unglued. People went being unglued, meaning people wouldn't go to church no more. They're not going to work no more. They would sit in their house shaking in the corner, just shook, scared, crying, shaking, and all that. You know what I mean? Wouldn't pay their bills. Or just disastrous, right? That's what the congressman Tim Burchett said. And he also said that, if I tell you what I know, it'll keep you up at night. You're not going to sleep. You're not going to sleep. You'll sit there with your flashlight waiting for them to come through your door, waiting for them to come through the wall and take you out of here, and then do experiments on you, right? Because they know to do that. Take your eyeball out, put it back in, give you brain surgery. You know what I mean? This is stuff that actually has happened to people on the chariots. One guy was there. He said he turned around, he saw body parts laying all over the place. Be chopping people up, man. Right? And let's not talk about the guy in Brazil. We talked about it before, but let's talk about it again. The guy had little holes. They found him, right? Just they drained his blood or whatever. It's like holes all around him, the back of his neck. And he said they were sucking his organs and stuff through them holes. While he was alive. Remember that? While he was alive. We'll talk about what was that, Second Ezra's? Is it 6th or is it might be 9th chapter? Where it talks, I think, 9-11, right? It says you'll know by death by pain. That guy literally died from pain. Like his body shut down. Like he couldn't take it no more. His body was like, all right, we're just gotta kill it. We gotta shut our nervous system down. The body's done. We can't take this no more. So that guy literally died from pain. So when that comes out to like regular people, that when I say regular people, just people that just pay their bills, go to work, come home, vote, you know what I mean? Can't get the latest Taylor Swift CD, or can't wait to get the latest Taylor Swift CD, and you know what I'm saying? Or stream, whatever it is nowadays. That would just be mind-blowing to them. Like their head gone. So, but that doesn't mean it's not true. So eventually stuff's going to have to come out, and imagine the pandemonium, the fear oozing from Esau and the wicked when they realize the stuff they are doing, there's consequences. All right, so let's watch the next video, okay? Regarding that.
You heard about this, an absolutely wild story at a time when we could be on the verge of some kind of disclosure about alien life and UFOs from the White House. They've said this. 4 people who worked in government programs and knew a whole lot about that topic have either vanished or have been murdered. The first was retired General William Neal McCasland, who had ties to UFO programs in the government. He disappeared suddenly from his home in New Mexico in February. He left his phone, his glasses, and his watch at home. He also worked at an Air Force base that reportedly held the debris from the Roswell, New Mexico crash in the 1940s. Then it was Monica Reza, a former NASA engineer who worked directly under General McCasland on advanced propulsion engines. She vanished while hiking in California last June with friends who say they have no idea what happened. Then
Okay, now let's talk about that real quick, and I'm gonna play it. She was hiking with friends, and she disappeared, and her friends have no idea what happened. If you are a Hebrew Israelite that aims to be righteous, that is doing the right thing as best as you can, and you have never watched Missing 411, it is on YouTube. It's free. You do not have to pay for it. If you have not seen at least one of the Missing 411s, there's one that's I think it's just, I don't know, it might just called Missing 411. The other one is called Missing 411 about hunters, right? And the third one is called Missing 411, and it's about so-called UFOs, about the chariots. I will watch that last, the so-called UFO one, right? If you haven't watched it, you're going off. You're going off. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm not going to say it's going to keep you out of the kingdom of heaven. I'm not going to say that the Most High won't bless you for not watching. I'm not going to say that. But I'm just going to say, from my perspective, this is Chassadyah. This is thus save Chassadyah. Ain't thus save the Lord. All right? You're going off. You know what I'm saying? Because if anybody knows me, I've been talking about these Missing 411s for years, since they came out. You got to watch it, man. I'm trying to tell you, you will get so much enjoyment out of what Yahweh Shemel Shai is doing to these Edomites, man. It's all Esau. It ain't got nothing to do with us. We are so safe, you know what I mean, going into these woods for the most part, you know what I mean, to my understanding. But in these videos, you got to check it out. You got to check it out. You know, it's something special with us. Even if brothers and sisters aren't following the law, statutes, commandments, you know, they have an opportunity to repent. They have an opportunity to come back. Esau has no place of repentance. You know, just our spirit alone, the Most High might shake us up. But, you know, I haven't seen too many brothers going into these woods and not coming out. You know, anybody, you know, see that video where the little sister, little sisters with the sea lion at like SeaWorld, she's, you know, doing the circle and then running, the sea lion's just running with her. Like, people are like, yo, these are special people. We are a special group of people. They, in fact, are not. So if you want to get a laugh, I advise you to check out Missing 411. And you know what? It's not just for a laugh. You'll see, like, damn, let me really follow these laws, statutes, commandments to the best of my ability. I don't want that to happen to me. You know what I mean? Because it's bad. You feel me? It's bad. Okay. So it's just like this with this woman. She's with her friends. And all of a sudden, they're like, yo, where is she? She's gone, never to be seen again. She said it was last June. It's almost June again. Not a sign, not anything. Now, it's a possibility, if you watch the Missing 411 series, her boots might be found on a mountain. Her compass might be found by a water 5 miles away. Her jacket might be found in a tree 13 miles away. You know what I'm saying? Like, they playing with them. You know what I mean? They're like, well, how's this possible? How did she go up in a tree and then go on top of a mountain and then lose her shoes? They just be like, the angels be gripping them up, man. All right. And sitting them down and belt to behind. That's what it is. Belt to behind. All right, but let's continue on.
It was Nuro Larejo, the director of plasma science at MIT. He was murdered in his home in Boston in December. And then it was Carl Grillmar, a Caltech astrophysicist, who discovered water on another planet where there may have been life. Carl was murdered randomly in his home last month. Our next guest says this was not a coincidence.
Everybody's thinking it's UFO, but he had some nuclear secrets. There's just too many of them disappearing, Benny. Nothing happens by coincidence in this town or around this town.
Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett is joining us. He's also a member of the Oversight and Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, good to see you. What do you think's going on here?
I don't know exactly. I just know there are no coincidences in this town. These folks have disappeared or died mysteriously, and there's the only thing that ties them together is the fact that they work on things that are dealing with outer space, whether it's UFOs or nuclear secrets or missiles or what have you. But I think we need full disclosure. When I'm in a meeting, in a closed door meeting, and I ask about the president's points on these, and then I'm told by some arrogant, unelected bureaucrat that the president is on a need-to-know basis, I think that says everything it needs to be said about what's going on. I think there's an arrogance, there's an underlying, and I talked to the president about this. I said, it's just layers of the onion, Mr. President. You peel one off, and there's another one underneath. You put your top people in, and it's too much to clear out in 4 years. And it's just, we've got a real problem, I think, in this area. And I think you've got some arrogance. When I sit in a meeting, some punk with a man bun is sort of running decorated military officers in the meeting there that are basically unallowed to say anything, and you can read their faces what's going on.
Well, General McCaslin, he was not a minor player at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. He was there for more than 35 years. At one point, he was the top guy at that base, and he just disappears. His family has no idea what happened. Do you think the cases are connected, or do you think this is just some absolutely wild coincidence? Because all four of these people are also connected in some way.
Yeah, I think some of them could be a domestic issue, but I think overall, I think there is a connection there.
Okay, so you do think this is a conspiracy?
I don't think we're ever going to know, because it'll come out, and it gives enough time for the trail to go. It's like when a kid in Washington, D.C. gets, they find him dead, and they claim that he was mugged, yet his watch and wallet and he's got cash on him are not taken. But that's just the story that's put out, and that's what we believe. So I just do not believe this is by coincidence.
And people just do not disappear. And the connections between all four of these people.
Not in this day and age. No, you've got to have some real inside type of operation.
Okay, I want to play you a soundbite. Former colleague of yours, Matt Gaetz, making some pretty shocking statements yesterday about aliens. Take a look.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. Aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants.
All right. I mean,
now let's real quick. Forced breeding. Nobody's forcing angels to do anything. They run the show. Now, when you look at how Adam was made, you know what I'm saying, and Eve, and make man in our image and our likeness, it goes with that. And Hebrews 13:2, how you entertain angels unawares. So that is the scary thing that Esau is really saying, we have no control over, because you don't know who you're talking to. You know what I mean? You don't know if the person that walks by you is a regular human born here or is not. You know what I mean? Is an angel that looks like you. So they're just now figuring this out. This is something that I've really been talking about for a long time. You know what I mean? And not only me, obviously, it's in the scriptures, but I've been kind of like harping on, like, this is legit. And when people really realize what is going on, it's going to be heart attack season. You know what I mean? Man's hearts will fail them, the things that's coming to the earth. And he even explains that in this next segment right here, when he finishes out this interview.
I don't have the tinfoil hat on just yet, Congressman, but I'm wondering, kind of how you react to that, because you are connected, you're on the UFO subcommittee. I mean, I'm just wondering what you make of that. Have you heard anything like that?
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said. But I will say this.
Wait, seriously? Are you being serious, or is that tongue in cheek?
I'm being 100% serious. Okay. I'm being 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this, if they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up, you'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it. Well, I was briefed. I'll just tell you this. I was briefed last week on an issue, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago. And it would have set the earth on it. This country would have come unglued, I think, if they would have heard all that I heard. They would demand answers. And we need to. But it's never going to get, unfortunately, it just keeps getting covered up. And the people that know are dying or disappearing, as the case may be.
Wow.
And for the record, I'm not suicidal and I don't take risks. So,
I'm glad you said that. I'm speechless, Congressman.
We
will have you back.
You should be. And I told the president, release it all. And the problem is the people that are around the president don't know and the president doesn't know the questions to ask. A few of us are going to have to get with the president and tell him what he needs to ask and where he needs to look. I mean, we're in meetings and they give addresses and tell locations of items, I'll just say. And the public has a right to know, dadgummit. It's your tax dollars.
Absolutely.
Let's get it out there.
You got my attention, Congressman. I appreciate you being as forthcoming as you have been tonight. And we look forward to having you back. Look, I know Donald Trump wants to disclose something. He hasn't done it yet, but I think he wants to be the president to do that. Tim Burchett, thank you.
He does. Yeah. He does. Thank you, brother.
Efficient than chemical.
Okay, so just like it, rewind that one. Yes, so that is Congressman from Tennessee, Tim Burchett. Let you know that if you knew what he knew, you wouldn't be able to go to sleep. Now, as far as Israelites go, we're like, yeah, we know already. You know what I'm saying? Y'all kind of late. Esau always late, man. Esau late with everything. Comes to like fashion, lingo, whatever, man. He's just mad late, He's like, yes, I'm going to raise the roof. Is that what you kids do nowadays? Like Esau, man, like you gotta catch up, man. You late. So, you know what I mean? We ain't trying, there ain't no point of letting them know what's going on. You're gonna find out one way or another. You're gonna find out the easy way, you're gonna find out the hard way. I prefer the hard way. You know what I'm talking about? And think about all the centuries of oppression and lynching, you know, slavery, abuse. I just seen something out of the corner of my eye. That's why I looked over there. Like, so we, you know, we surrounded, man, for real, for real. We surrounded by Most High One. You found the lost statute commandments. You surrounded by angels. It's legit. Okay, but yeah, let me mark that one. Come back to that afterwards. See if we can see it on camera. It's like, yeah. Okay, what I was saying, all the centuries of abuse and neglect, benign neglect, government, you know, issued racism, you know, redlining, putting highways through our neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying, dropping bombs on move and Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you know, the Rosewood race riots, all that stuff. It all adds up, man. All adds up to being you people are going to feel a lot of pain really soon. If you haven't already, it's going to, once it starts, it ain't gonna stop. You know what I mean? Oil prices still going up. Trump lying. Every time he lies, it comes down. Like that's a devil for you. But anyway, back to the original point. Congress is scared. When American people find out, they're going to be scared, and there's nothing at all they can do about it. Can't go nowhere, can't go in the ocean, can't go to Mars like Elon Musk wants to do. You're stuck here. Just find yourself an Israelite that follows the law, statutes, commandments. This is Esau. Find yourself an Israelite that follows the law, statutes, commandments. Give them all your money. Give them all your jewels, your gold. Right over, what's it called? Like your bill of your house, your car. You're not going to need it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to need it. Oh, my goodness. But don't believe me. You'll see. All right. So what's the, and start slavery early. Mow their lawn, you know, wash the car, fix the roof, make yourself useful because your life's about to go completely haywire. All right. And that's a fact. All right, so now let's talk about the next thing, right? 3i Atlas. We was talking about that cyanide coming out of the 3i Atlas, and it reminded me of Mount Sinai, but it's a different word, cyanide. But anyway, the building blocks of life was coming out of that. What is it, 33-ton ship that disguised itself as an asteroid or something to that effect, and apparently. Now they're looking at the analysts, you know, different, you know, biologics surrounding it. It was nuclear. The coma, it was a nuclear. I mean, come on, man. First things first. Let's get Isaiah 40 and 26. It was nuclear. There was like nuclear ships around it or something like that. Mind-boggling. This, you know, we're gonna watch a little bit what the old boy says on this next one, maybe a couple, like 5 minutes, whatever. But check it out, because this thing was more than what they were saying, and that's probably why they're really scared. He says, you know, Tim Burchett got his briefing 2 weeks ago. What happened 2 weeks ago? All these meteors are falling out, quote unquote, meteors are falling out of the sky. So he got a briefing then. Why would he get a briefing then? You know what I'm saying? We gotta play the timelines, because you know Esau gonna tell you but so much. But after the 3i Atlas, and now we're in the debris field, and these meteors are falling from the sky. They're doing flips and turning the other way around. This, that, and the third. You can go back 2 weeks ago with the Wednesday class, and we show it. You can see the meteor coming down, and it stops, blinks out, comes back. You're like, oh, that ain't no meteor. That is a chariot. All right. But let's bring that out, King. Isaiah 40 and 26. You there, out? Shikani? All right, I got it. Isaiah chapter 40 and 26. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who have created these things, that bringeth out the host by number. Like, who created 3i Atlas? We could say, oh, I believe it was an asteroid, brother. Ain't no chariot and this, that, and third. Well, who created it? Either way. Exactly, right? Yahweh Shemel Shah, right? And they're, you know, he's the architect, Yahweh Shai, the builder. All right. Out of the host of by number, he called them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power, not one faileth. Okay, so we're gonna get to that. This next video, just a few minutes, but he's been following this for a long time. You know what I mean? And I think it's called like Angry Astronaut or something like that. So listen to what he has to say, and mind-boggling. It's all backed up by like science and everything, but he's just explaining it.
What if I told you that the third confirmed interstellar object to ever visit our solar system isn't a comet, it's a starship, a modified asteroid running on fusion power, trailing a cloud of tiny fusion-powered drones or nanomachines that are literally manufacturing water, methanol, and who knows what else right in front of our telescopes. Well, you probably wouldn't be too surprised. That is, if you watch my channel regularly, because I've been talking about that for quite some time. But hey, everyone, it's the Angry Astronaut again, and today we're doing a full deep dive on 3i Atlas. Yeah, I know I said the last episode was the final chapter, but this is a new beginning. If Friday the 13th can do it, I can do it. And I'm breaking this into clear chapters so you can follow every insane data point, every anomaly, and exactly why the artificial hypothesis I've been hammering since this thing showed up is not wild speculation anymore. It's the most logical explanation when you stack everything together. We're talking 10 times natural deuterium levels, water being produced in the coma like a factory, an anti-tail that flips off the solar wind, nickel and methanol that shouldn't exist, UFOs caught over Mars on both my channel and others, and a Jupiter flyby so precise it's basically a parking maneuver. Buckle up, because this is going to be long and detailed. And by the end, you'll see why Avi Loeb himself keeps publishing this stuff without laughing it off. Let's go. Good afternoon, alien enthusiasts, and welcome to another Angry Alien Bulletin. Amazingly, we're still talking about 3i Atlas. It wasn't the final chapter. It's a new beginning. Remember the Friday the 13th Part 5 movie? Well, most of you probably don't remember that. Came out right after Friday the 13th Part 4, a final chapter, and it was a new beginning because everybody knew that they were lying to us about that being the final movie. And I guess I was lying to all of you too about the final chapter of 3i Atlas. But all that having been said, in my defense, I at least said that there was a lot of new data, a lot of new studies and papers that were going to come out about this mysterious interstellar object as the data continued to come in, as we learned more and more about 3i Atlas and just how bizarre and unusual of an object it is. It's still in the solar system, hasn't even passed the orbit of Saturn yet, still well within the solar system, and definitely still worth talking about. All that having been said, Avi Loeb recently released another article in Medium about all of the deuterium. Glad that he started to pay attention to that, or perhaps an artificial explanation for the deuterium, as I had been doing on my channel for some time. Part of me really hopes that he's keeping up with what I do, but it's kind of hard to say for certain. But he's definitely talking about the deuterium in 3i Atlas's coma possibly being a techno signature, and what adds on to that is a new study came out also that has nothing to do with Avi Loeb's article that says for some bizarre reason, this deuterium-rich water is coming from something in the coma rather than the nucleus. That is very strange. All the water, all of the sublimation from a comet should be coming from its nucleus, not from some mysterious point of origin in the coma somewhere. But that's exactly what is happening. And that's just to get started. In addition to that, we have new UFO sightings on Mars that are coming out at about the same time as we have 3I Atlas passing through the solar system. My channel actually reported a UFO sighting that took place just before 3I Atlas made its close approach with Mars. And now we have more sightings from the Perseverance rover. So in short, we have quite a lot of things to cover about 3I Atlas today. So let's get going with a new beginning. So in case you don't know, Avi Loeb is a Harvard astrophysicist. Actually, he was the chair of the Harvard Astrophysics Department for 10 years. He's the guy who literally wrote the book on Oumuamua, the first interstellar object to pass through our solar system, or at least the first to pass through and get detected, and other technological signatures in space. And he just published yet another detailed Medium article breaking down the latest spectroscopic data on 3I Atlas. The water vapor in 3I Atlas's coma has a deuterium to hydrogen ratio of roughly 1 deuterium atom for every 100 hydrogen atoms. That's 10 times higher than any natural comet ever measured in our solar system or anywhere else. And there's also methane in 3I Atlas's coma, and it too is enriched with deuterium. For context, comets and icy bodies form with deuterium to hydrogen ratios of around 0.015% to 0.03% at best. Interstellar clouds are even lower. This level of enrichment seems like artificial processing. Deuterium isn't just rare, it's the premium fuel for fusion reactors. You separate it from seawater or ice, concentrate it, and you've got the key ingredient for clean, high-thrust interstellar propulsion. And Loeb points out that this isn't just some tiny spike. It's consistent across the entire coma and persists even as the object moves outbound away from the sun. Natural sublimation or cosmic ray processing can't explain this at this scale. Something is actively concentrating or producing deuterium-rich volatiles, and that sets up perfectly for what comes next. All right, so those are the various bizarre things that Avi Loeb had to talk about, but really we're only just getting started here. So right on the heels of Avi Loeb's piece, astrobiology.com drops this article, quote, unique water release mechanism uncovered in interstellar comet 3I Atlas. That may not sound all that exciting, but it actually is. Utilizing high-resolution radio data from China's Tianma telescope, the team found something wild. A huge fraction of this deuterium-rich water, up to 80% of it before perihelion, is not coming from the nucleus. It's coming from, they say, icy grains and dust particles scattered throughout the coma itself, an extended source that's actively releasing water. The paper calls the mechanism pronounced and unusual and says it defies standard cometary models. Natural comets release water when sunlight heats the nucleus ice. Here, the coma is doing the heavy lifting, like a distributed cloud of mini reactors cracking or recombining ices on purpose. Add in the deuterium enrichment and you start seeing a pattern. Something in that coma is processing material at an industrial scale. Now, let's add in the anti-tail. Hubble images show a massive sunward-pointing structure made of large particles that completely ignore the solar radiation pressure and solar wind that should be blasting everything anti-sunward. Loeb has written multiple papers on this. I've put out a number of videos on it. It's not dust being pushed. It's either resisting or being actively propelled. Then there's the nickel. The Very Large Telescope has revealed extreme nickel production in the coma at distances where temperatures are far too low to naturally vaporize metals. Nickel-iron ratios are off the charts early on, with nickel atoms lighting up the spectrum while iron was barely detectable. The papers concerning this discovery called it puzzling and exceptional because nickel just doesn't evaporate from ice at 3 astronomical units away from the sun, which is where it was detected. And then methanol, the ALMA Observatory announced 3I Atlas is absolutely bursting with it. Methanol to hydrogen cyanide ratios between 70 to 120, insanely high. And again, coming from both the nucleus and the coma. So here's the connection that I've been shouting from the moment that this was discovered. Methanol is easily produced by the electrolysis of water and carbon dioxide, both of which are ridiculously abundant around this object. You run current through H2O and CO2 and boom, you get CH3OH plus oxygen, which is methanol plus oxygen. That's not just exotic chemistry, that's a straightforward industrial process. And what powers electrolysis? Electricity, which a fusion reactor produces in abundance. Okay, so now that we know all of these strange anomalies, and really that isn't all of the anomalies associated with 3I Atlas, not even close, and we haven't even talked about the Mars sightings yet, what are some artificial explanations for what we are currently seeing? We certainly have some natural ones, although really they're starting to wear a little thin at this point. It's becoming a little less believable that all of these bizarre things that have never happened with any natural comet that we have ever seen, including, by the way, the other 2 interstellar objects that we have observed passing through the solar system. None of these things have ever happened before, and now they're happening with 3I Atlas. If it isn't something natural, what's an artificial explanation? Okay, so it's time to get technical because this is where the artificial hypothesis goes from cool idea to this explains everything.
Okay, so if you want to watch the rest of it, it will be available Cyrac 20 and 6 playlist, Wednesday wake up call number 86. All right. Let's see. Okay. Because then it gets technical, and then, even more technical than that. And you're like, all right. You know what I mean? Layman's terms, that ain't no daggone comet. You know what I mean? And it has nuclear nanoparticle fusion chips surrounding it, which is wild. And I think those nanoparticle fusion chips that was surrounding 3I Atlas and still are the things that are falling from the sky and hitting Babylon. Yeah, it's a lot to unpack. Okay, so pretty much what this comes down to is the Most High is severing the wicked and the just. Be on the good side because, Congress is scared. The president's bombing everybody. The devil knows he has but a short time. And you got people walking around that are extraterrestrial, if you will. This is what we're dealing with. This is what it is, From lying, I'm flying. Okay. But anywho, explosion in Providence, Rhode Island. 13 people injured or hospitalized. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. So let's get to Psalm chapter 19, verse 1. And then we're going to do our health segment, of course, for the last bit. And we all good. We all good. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that like button, Bubba Gashar. Okay. Let's go to Psalm chapter 19. We'll start at verse 1. Psalm chapter 19, verse 1. The heavens declare the glory of Yahweh, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. You know, what that guy was talking about is stuff that it just doesn't happen. It's not normal. You know what I mean? You don't have nuclear fusion surrounding a comet, you know, with water coming off it, methane. It's made of nickel. It has a forward-facing or sun-facing tail. That if it's a normal, natural occurring thing, comet, then you got to throw away all your physics books because none of them make sense now. So I think we understand that this is a chariot, and we are in the midst of what was coming off it is now here in America. Yeah. Okay. And worldwide, but definitely in Babylon. All right. Now let's go to Isaiah chapter 58. This next the health segment we'll start at verse 6. It talks about cancer, right? Because of a 1951, I believe, what's it called? Information Act. What is it? Freedom of Information Act request. I do believe 1951 report talks about the CIA and cancer. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be careful what I say just because, you know, they already took down a video from my, from HOI Philly page, because Esau, instead of like trying to come to grips with reality, they'll just take down your page or take down your video because they don't like what you're saying. Not saying it's not true, but of course they don't like it. So may the Most High judge them swiftly with that. But so I'm gonna watch what I say. But CIA had a report about cancer and how it could potentially, be tied into parasites, and how he's going to talk about how a very cheap drug, which they're not even researching right now because they don't like cheap, they like very expensive, that they're not researching around, could help in the quest to alleviate cancer. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And he also talks about fasting and how important that is with a program. I can't think of the word, but like how they it's not just one way to attack cancer, you know what I'm saying? So part of it would be fasting is good too. Okay, so Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 6. Is not this a fast that I have chosen, to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and that ye break every yoke? So fasting is very good to get these demons away from you. You know what I'm saying? Get these evil spirits away from you. Verse 7. Is it not to deal thy bread to the hungry, and that thou bring the poor that are cast out to thy house? When thou seest the naked, that thou cover him, and that thou hide not thyself from thy own flesh. So doing right, doing good for the less fortunate. You might be the less fortunate. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't got it. You know what I mean? But helping out your fellow brother, helping out your fellow sister, is a amazing thing to do while you're fasting, following the laws of God. Verse 8. Then shall thou light break forth as the morning, and thy health spring forth speedily, and thy righteousness shall go before thee. The glory of the Lord shall be thy reward. So very good for your health. You know what I'm saying? Not eating all the time, not always, being addicted to food. The food's terrible anyway. GMOs, bioengineered ingredients, you know what I'm saying? But that, I mean, don't eat anything at all. Just eat the best stuff you can eat, put in your body. You know what I mean? But having a break with all that, you know, food and water, is it can help. It can benefit, you know, issues you have in health wise. Now, of course, all things don't go together. You know what I mean? If you on some type of medication where you gotta take it, like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying don't take the medication, but if you are on the up and up, you doing all right health wise, fasting for health reasons are very beneficial. Fasting to get that yoke of wickedness off you is very beneficial, and helping your fellow brother. So let's watch the video. Let's see, here we go.
Cancer is actually a parasite, believe it or not, and the cure cost $5. A drug designed to kill parasitic worms just helped 3 stage 4 cancer patients into complete remission. And absolutely no major cancer center will run a clinical trial on it. How does a drug that kills parasites also kill cancer? At the molecular level, cancer really is a parasite. It consumes your resources, it spreads into new territory, and cancer runs the exact same survival machinery that parasites and fungi have been using for billions of years. In 2025, over 2 million Americans were diagnosed with cancer. Cancer in young people is up 79% in 30 years. Colorectal cancer went from the 4th leading cause of cancer death in young men in the 90s to number 1. And I just want to mention something about survival rates too. If anyone ever tells you that they're improving, realize that survival success in cancer means this. If you survive for 5 years, it's a success, okay? And so if you die past the 5 years, you're still considered successful. So first, let me give you a little foundation of what cancer is. The first thing you need to know is in your cells, you have these things called mitochondria. Those are the energy factories in the body. And from every unit of glucose, you make 36 units of energy. They call that ATP. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of how it morphed in our bodies and became part of us, but we made an arrangement that the mitochondria makes the energy and we provide the home for this bacteria. When it's exposed to toxins or radiation and it becomes damaged, now it's going to actually take a different pathway to make energy, okay? Because in the body, it's all about energy. When it reverts into this other system of making energy, this is an ancient system, okay? And it's not very efficient. It's a backup system outside the mitochondria. This system exists in bacteria, it exists in funguses, it exists in all different types of life forms. And this system of energy is very crude and it doesn't make a lot of energy. It's very inefficient. And when I say inefficient, the mitochondria make 36 units of energy per glucose. This only makes 2 units of energy per glucose. And this is what cancer is, okay? A Nobel Prize winner named Otto Warburg discovered this nearly 100 years ago. And this is why when they diagnose cancer, they use a PET scan. What is a PET scan? Well, they inject you with radioactive sugar and then scan the body with this machine. And then the cancer will light up very bright on these scans. And so when you do a PET scan, they can see areas in the body where there's a lot of metabolism of sugar. Okay, that's where you have cancer because cancer is eating that up. So cancer is using this old backup system. It's a primitive survival mode called glycolysis. One of the problems for our cells is there's a lot of waste from this crude machinery, and it's producing a lot of lactic acid. And cancer can thrive in that environment where our cells have a hard time. If there's damage in your lung from smoking, for example, and there's inflammation, cancer might travel into that area. Now, I will say that cancer also has some backup plans too, because it's very, very adaptive. It can also live on an amino acid called glutamine. It also can live on branched chain amino acids. And in advanced cases, it can even live on ketones. That's for a different video. And I know this sounds depressing because, like, what are we going to do? Just hang in there. I'm getting there. So now what does cancer have to do with parasites? Well, if you think about it, the backup system, glycolysis, okay, is one of the oldest metabolic pathways on planet Earth. Researchers have identified 3 different survival systems that parasites, fungus, worms, and cancer all use to survive. The first one is an internal scaffolding. The scaffolding is an internal skeleton that makes up the structure. And what's very unique about cancer and parasites is they both are rapid dividers. Like even a tapeworm, for example, can produce 50,000 eggs a day. Cancer cells divide nonstop because they basically don't have any more breaks. It's all accelerator. And so if we take an anti-parasitic drug, fenbendazole, this is a drug that grabs onto these little tubular proteins and breaks the scaffolding down. And all of these other anti-parasitic drugs, whether it's ivermectin, natural herbs like wormwood, black walnut hull, and clove, do the same thing either directly or indirectly. The second survival mechanism is they turn off this self-destructive button. Normally, when there's damage within a cell, it actually commits suicide for the greatest good of your body. These parasites, these fungus cancer cells have this little sign on them that says, "Don't kill me," okay? And this somehow tricks the immune system into thinking that it shouldn't kill them. The anti-parasitic drugs and natural remedies actually just remove this little badge, so that way your immune system can take over and kill them. So a lot of people ask me, what supplements do I recommend? Now, of course, I'm not biased of my own high-quality supplement line, but if you go to Amazon and type Dr. Berg supplements, you'll find more information. Now, let's talk about the third mechanism of survival, okay? All the parasites, the fungus, all use glycolysis. Well, these anti-parasitic remedies basically start blocking either directly or indirectly glycolysis. So all of these anti-parasitics inhibit the fuel source for cancer. And when I was looking into the ivermectin and fenbendazole, I didn't even realize that the other herbal natural remedies that a lot of people take for parasite cleanses also do a very similar action, indirectly and directly. The question is, why haven't you heard about this? Well, first of all, the patents expired years ago, and no one's going to spend $100 million on a $12 remedy. Most of the research, which I'm going to put links down below, are from universities in South Korea, India, and small labs. No industry funding, no conflicts of interest. There's also quite a bit of published case studies documenting these antifungal results in stage 4 patients with cancer that have resistance to chemotherapy. Another interesting study in 2025, fenbendazole targets regular cancer cells and cancer stem cells. These are the seeds that survive chemo and regrow tumors. 100% survival in treated mice, 0 in untreated controls. These compounds even work in chemo-resistant cancers. So yes, you need to cut out the sugar and the refined carbs and the refined grains and the refined starches, because all of that will feed cancer. And I know some people are going to have questions. If I have cancer, do I have to also avoid glutamine and branched chain amino acids and ketones? That information is in another video I'm going to put down below, because what you want to do if you have cancer, and I'm not telling you to try these remedies or not try them. I'm just giving you information to do further research. But if you have cancer, you need to do multiple things, because cancer is very smart. And there's a video I did that talks about how to rotate the diet. So as soon as the cancer starts adapting to one fuel source, you change it to another diet and you keep rotating it. But the other thing you have to realize is that the immune system really is the most powerful thing to kill cancer. And there's 2 cells, one called the killer T cell, and number 2 is the natural killer cell. Both of these immune cells directly kill cancer. And there's 4 things you can do to support these 2 cells, okay? Number 1, you can start to increase your vitamin D levels, but you don't want to just take a little bit of vitamin D, like 600 IUs. That's not enough for the immune system, especially for these 2 guys right here. Fasting, regular fasting and prolonged fasting is probably the most powerful weapon. I've done a lot of videos on that, and I talk about why. Sleep also helps to support these 2 cells, and exercise. So given that information, the antiparasitics, both medication and even some of the natural remedies, have the ability to dismantle the survival mechanism of not just parasites and worms, which are basically the same thing, but also cancer. Why? Because cancer behaves like a parasite. Now, the absolute next most important video for you to watch is what to eat when you have cancer, okay? And how to rotate your eating plan. And for that information, it's right here, this video.
All right. So, of course, that's important. What you put in your body is super important when it comes to your health and well-being. All right. That's just about it. You know what I mean? Hopefully, this class was edifying. You can see that we are in a unique time period in life where the Most High God is severing the wicked from the just. Do everything in your power to be on the side of the just. And, you know what I mean? You know, read, fast, meditate, follow these laws, statutes, commandments. Do the best you can in this time period, because, you know, it's all or none. You're still alive. You can still hear the sound of my voice. Most High God hasn't taken you off this planet yet. You are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American. Just go hard, man. You know what I mean? God got you. All right. So Kom Yashala, we got next. Shalom.
Shalom.
House of Israel. HOI till